It was definitely traumatic. It was very traumatic. I mean, it was probably, I would say, the most traumatic episode of my life so far. I'm 33 years old now. So that was literally half of my life ago. Y sí, it was the worst. I went through a lot, but I also grew a lot as a person, as a young woman. And to be honest with you, it's taken me a long time to. I even want to get choked up right now. I never get asked this question ever, so you're the first person that brings this up to me. But it took me years to not get choked up or even kind of relive all of the feelings that I lived during that time, because it was a very sad time in my life, but it was also a very happy time in my life, if that makes
It
sense.
makes perfect sense. If you
Because
don't mind me asking, were you a single mom or no?
yes, I definitely was.
Wow. Deja tú. And at that time, and this is where it gets kind of like my intent or one of my things. I'm not going to say my goal in life because I'm not going to lie to tampoco. But I do remember when I was 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, I remember that my mom used to tell me, hey, it was my fault porque te prestaba el carro and you're always like, I started driving at 14, 15, like at a very young age. And me, at that age, I'm like, no, no, mom, of course not. This is the best thing that could have happened to me. Why? Who wants to have kids at 30, 40? Ya ni van a poder jugar con los niños. But that was my head, right? And now as I grow older, I'm like, no, 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 wait a second. I did miss on a lot of stuff because I had to work at a very young age. Since 16, full time, y no he parado. And again, thankfully, I've been able to do a lot of great stuff and everything, but I do realize that there's a lot of people that don't have that. So one of my goals is to, I'm not gonna say influence, but hopefully someone can take something back to. First of all, and first was don't make those mistakes. Second is si se puede. And when I
Of
heard you
course.
say basically the same thing, I'm like, yeah, yes. Now know that don't take it as an excuse, por
Of course.
favor. That
Don't.
maybe it's gonna take you longer than other people, but also yeah, you can do it.
It's definitely possible. It's not easy. It is definitely not easy. But yeah, like you said, it's definitely possible. Si se puede. Y híjole, yeah, it was a trying time in my life. Like I said, I was obviously I was a single mom. My mom was a single mom as well.
Yeah.
So man, I cannot. I mean, my mom, she's my everything to me. You're gonna make me cry, because she not only did she put up with it, she didn't have to, pero she basically didn't let me work. I begged my mom to let me work, to let me see for myself and my daughter and my unborn child. I was 16 and I told her, I can have your permission, I can work. Y no me dejó. No me dejó. She was a business owner herself. She had a home daycare for almost 20 years at home, obviously. And I would always work with her since she was starting. So I must have been working with her since I was like 12 years old. Ya está, desde antes, she was always hustling and selling burritos, and I was always there to help her. If my eyelash pops off, tell me because I'm
Go
about to
for it.
cry.
I will let it be like for 30 seconds porque se vea chistoso and then I'll tell you.
um, but she put up with it. She was very upset, very upset. I'm sure you can relate. I've never heard my mom cuss. Never. I had never heard my mom cuss hasta ese día que se dio cuenta que le dije. Y, ay, ni me acuerdo en verdad la palabra que me dijo. Se me hace que me dijo, ¿cómo eres pendeja? Pero así de así con
Y lo
coraje.
sentiste tú, I'm
Y yo,
sure.
shit, I mean, I've
Wow.
never heard my mom cuss. Y para que, o sea, está enojada, like, she's big mad. Y hasta la fecha nunca he oído a mi mamá decir ninguna mala razón. Y dije, no, ya aquí, ya aquí ya me morí, este va a ser mi velorio. Pero no, muchísimas gracias a mi mamá que me ayudó a salir adelante, y con mi niña hasta la fecha la trata como si fuera su propia hija. No me dejó trabajar, te digo.
¿Hasta cuándo te dejó trabajar?
Me
That's
dejó
a good
trabajar
one.
hasta que tuve 18 años, y eso fue porque le rogué, le rogué, le rogué que por favor me dejara trabajar. Y aún así, sorry, we're like mixing
No,
English and
no,
Spanish.
go ahead.
Even then, she didn't want me to work, so I didn't last there very long. I was working at the mall, at an Altel booth, selling phones. Según yo, I think I lasted there like a month. and she did everything possible for me to not enjoy that experience.
Wow. Okay.
If that makes sense.
It makes perfect sense, and we're definitely gonna talk about this
Yeah.
because, well, I haven't told you this, but my daughter, I have custody of my daughter. She's been living with me for 9 years already.
Wow, that's
So it's just her and I at the house. So what I try to do is to teach her like life lessons acá de aquí, de acá. She's tired of listening to me. Ve los podcasts, Dad, yo ya vi es. Like, don't even tell me. Like, but she's a really good girl, right? Yeah. And one of the things that as she's starting to grow older, que no quiero trabajar. No, wait a second. And especially you, because that, okay, let me try to go back a little bit. I really think that the biggest lottery that we can win as humans is our parents, 100%. Because I know that maybe 8 out of 10 people, you get pregnant, especially Hispanic culture, que me pones a trabajar, ¿querías andar haciendo eso? Órale. And I understand, because, I mean, maybe they don't know better. But yes, that the mistake was done, and everyone's upset, for sure. But the right approach is that, and this is where I tell my daughter, because she has friends and even family members, they said, hey, pues ya, ¿cuándo vas a agarrar a trabajar and everything? Like, wait a second. Whenever you're going to start working, let's say it's at 25, you're never going to stop. Like, ¿para qué? Why the rush? You don't understand that you have to live your cycle of, you want to read? Stay there and read. Of course, she's responsible. 9 years of perfect attendance. Wow. She reads over 100 books a year. So you can tell más o menos what type of daughter I have. Pero, okay, not bragging. But the truth is that, like, no, wait, you take your time. And if you have kids, my advice, perfect age, 30 or 35, so even older than that. Why? And because you have to live your life. Tienes que andar con tus 40 vatos. I don't care. You vive la vida loca, but do it because that's exactly the stage that you're in. Because then what happened to me is that I worked a lot, and pues ya después ya quería salir después, and then I was leaving my daughter, and I did a lot of the stuff that, because I couldn't, like, my daughter suffered some of the stuff because of me, like, living a fast life, if you want to see it this way. So when you're telling me this about your mom, I'm like, oh my God, like, that's so smart advice, first of all. And it sounds like she's been, not only for that, but also she's been crucial to who you are right now.
Oh, absolutely. I am a part of her. I am her. She is me. I model so much. And now that I've grown, I model so much of my mom and myself. My kids are my everything. Yo no los dejo donde sea nomás porque me da la gana. Y eso es algo que ella me recalcó desde que tuve a Natalia, mi niña, que ella siempre me decía, you can't leave her, nomás para la escuela, lo que necesitas que hacer y ya. Ven aquí por tu niña a las 4 o 5 de la tarde, and that's it. I'm not going to be watching her. So, yeah, I mean, I did miss out on a lot of, early 20 age things, and I hated it. I hated it with a passion. But now that I'm older, I thank her so much for putting that into my brain, embedding that in my brain of being a good mom above anything else.
Wow.